There's quite a few big games being released in February, one of which being Metro Exodus, the latest installment in the Metro games franchise. With several novels and other written work that became the foundation of the video game series, the Metro franchise has formed a dedicated fanbase. Metro 2033 came out in 2010, followed by Metro Last Light in 2013, and then the next year Metro Redux, which is a remaster of the previous two games for current gen consoles and PC. The PC version has historically been available primarily on Steam, but this time around for Metro Exodus, it's a different story. A couple of days ago, the Metro Exodus Twitter page announced that they are moving Metro Exodus from Steam to the Epic Games Store instead, and they were also pulling the game from all other online key sellers and stores. This platform exclusivity for Metro Exodus would last for a full year, and then the game could be put back for sale on, say, Steam again. Now, this isn't the first attempt from Epic to expand their store and bring new players to their platform. They've had a couple of games so far that you could actually get for free for a limited time as well, and are clearly investing a lot into adding more titles to their library. The publisher of Metro also announced that all the pre-orders that had already been made on Steam would be honored, meaning that those people would still be allowed to play the game on Valve's platform. Same will also go for the Steam key pre-orders on the Humble store. I reached out directly for a comment to THQ Nordic AB, the mother company of the business I'll be talking about in this video. The CEO there, Koch Media's Deep Silver directly, both their sales department but also PR, but unfortunately got no reply. However, there is quite a lot of info available already that I'll be summarizing in this video to make the whole thing easy to follow. So let's start from the top. Pre-orders! So people that pre-ordered the game with the intention of playing it on Steam will get to play it on Steam, or will they? Whilst the direct pre-orders on the Steam store and Humble store will be honored with Steam keys, there's actually loads of other ways you could have pre-ordered the game that won't give you a Steam key anymore. It was announced that all physical PC editions of Metro Exodus will now come with Epic Games Store codes instead. This was surprising to a lot of people as we're just about 2 weeks away from release, so that seemed like a very sudden change, especially with the turnaround of producing those codes, putting them in all those cases and shipping those out to all of those stores. Surely this had been in the works already for a bit. I was able to confirm as well though that some physical edition resellers were told that the pre-orders that they were taking were meant to be for Steam keys initially. This was when looking at a couple Swedish resellers as well as other resellers and their websites where they would state that there was a Steam key included. The reason as to why the pre-order part of the situation is a shitty move is that people are pre-ordering expecting a certain experience, including the things that Steam as a platform bring to the game, and are then just given something else entirely. Obviously, since it's pre-orders, people can just cancel their physical and other pre-orders if they don't want the game on the Epic Store, but there's currently no alternative there, as unless you had already pre-ordered, it's the Epic Games launcher or nothing. The Epic Games Store sucks! There's not really any other way to look at this part. Objectively, the Epic Games Store just has fewer features than Steam across the board, and overall is just worse. The Epic Store, featuring this giant blocky layout with very few features at all, is horrendous, honestly. There are no user reviews on the Epic Games Store at all, a feature that is actually really solid on Steam since it allows for users to show their thoughts on the game right there at the top of the store page, easy to see for everyone before they buy it. The security on the Epic Games Store is questionable at best, as they've had several security breaches with account information exposed several times over just the past couple of years. I myself had a lot of odd security related emails with my Epic Games account as well, and I've had to redo my two-step verification and change my password multiple times just to make sure no sensitive information is being accessed, and customer support, just like their track record would tell, was not very helpful either. There's also a lot of small but useful features missing entirely, like achievements, cloud saves, many social features, integrated controller support. But probably most importantly for some people, you can't play games offline on the Epic Games launcher currently. This is something that Steam offers, and Metro is a single player only game with no online mode, so all those people with rough internet connections could run into issues here, even if they just want to play the single player offline. In general, the Epic Games launcher and especially the store are just not very well developed and are lacking a big chunk of features that many view as part of the experience of playing a game on Steam. Anti-consumer! This is one of the most important parts, but it's also the part that I've seen a lot of people get wrong. So to set the record straight, yes, the game is about $7 to $10 cheaper on the Epic Game Store compared to when it was sold on Steam, at least when just looking at USD pricing right here. But even then, you still not got the same payment system support that Steam has, especially when looking at currency exchange, refunds as well from what I can tell and all that stuff. In addition to that, there's also the question of why. Why the Epic Game Store in the first place? Because the intention sure as hell doesn't seem to be to bring a better experience to the people buying the game, but the answer is pretty simple. Epic Games just offer a bigger revenue share and most definitely a whole lot of money on top. Steam takes 30% of the revenue from a game and the remaining 70% go to the publisher or developer or whatever. And Epic Games take 12%. So you can see why the people publishing the game went with the bigger revenue share and most likely fat lump sum on top for that exclusivity deal. However, 88% of not so many sales through Epic won't be nearly as much money as 70% of a good chunk of regular sales through Steam. This is when a lot of people directed their attention towards the publisher instead, especially after Steam put this message up here saying that they thought the whole thing was pretty unfair to the customers expecting that Steam experience. And I don't know if it's kind of their thing to say that it's unfair, that's kind of up to the customers, but regardless, this is when people started looking in the publisher's direction, and this is also when it gets a bit confusing. So I'm gonna explain this in an easy to understand way, though it might take a little while. From the beginning, Deep Silver are publishing Metro Exodus, and it was on the Deep Silver run Metro Exodus website and channels that this Epic Game Store exclusivity was announced. Deep Silver is the game publishing division of a company called Koch Media. Koch Media was acquired last year by THQ Nordic AB, the mother company of THQ Nordic GmbH. The AB company here is the Swedish mother company that owns THQ Nordic GmbH, an Austrian company that serves as the main operations hub for game publishment within the THQ brand. So when Koch Media was acquired by the Swedish THQ Nordic AB, it was also said that Koch Media and its subsidiaries would continue to operate as their own separate entity. This is key here. This would mean that Koch Media and by extension Deep Silver would be allowed to do whatever they want with their IPs and products, Metro being one of them. Now, for some reason, THQ Nordic's Twitter page, not Deep Silver, published a response regarding this whole Epic Game Store situation and said, quote, "The decision to publish Metro Exodus as a timed Epic Store exclusive was made entirely on Koch Media's side, as Metro is their intellectual property. They are a sister company of THQ Nordic Vienna, which is the reason why we can and will not comment on this matter. We do not want to categorically exclude the possibility of timed exclusives for any of our games in the future, but speaking in the here and now, we definitely want to have the players choose the platform of their liking and make our portfolio available to as many outlets as possible." Okay, so this confused a lot of people. So let's clear that up a little bit. To begin with, THQ Nordic aren't lying here, as I've seen some people say. THQ Nordic GmbH in Vienna are not in charge of game publishment at Deep Silver, but their Swedish mother company, that AB company, own all of these businesses and were most definitely involved in this to some degree, or should have at least known about it. So to summarize, or if you're not quite following, it seems like Koch Media's Deep Silver thought that the exclusivity deal they had with Epic was worth it. So they signed it, and I'm sure they were offered a substantial amount of money for the exclusivity deal with Epic, and they were able to do this because THQ Nordic AB, the mother company, had agreed when buying Koch Media that they wouldn't get involved and would let them run independently, just like I mentioned previously. So if you're really looking at who to blame for that Epic Game Store deal being signed in the first place, that definitely falls onto Koch Media plus Deep Silver here. However, it seems weird for THQ Nordic to distance themselves this much, especially with saying things like "we can and will not comment on this matter," whilst also adding that last bit of the tweet saying that THQ Nordic as a game publisher themselves work with the intention to make our portfolio available to as many outlets as possible. Just reaffirming that THQ Nordic published games won't be looking to get exclusivity deals necessarily with various platforms like the Epic Store, and that part does hold up, as for example THQ Nordic published Darksiders 3 is available on both Steam as well as the Epic Store for the same price. But THQ Nordic going out and sort of taking the front of the communication part of this is really confusing, and honestly honestly, I feel like that falls on Deep Silver. They should be doing that sort of stuff. But they're not for some reason, and we don't actually really know why. All in all, Koch Media and Deep Silver by extension have made a decision that have upset a lot of people for many good reasons. THQ Nordic are to some degree distancing themselves from this, and Deep Silver have not commented on the situation. We don't know if Deep Silver and THQ Nordic are having some internal issues or at least some discussions about this, so the only thing we as consumers are left with once again is voting with our wallets. If you don't want to support Epic Games exclusivity deals, you have to just not buy the game basically. It really sucks for die-hard Metro fans that just wanted to play their new installment without supporting a platform with all the issues the Epic Games Store and the launcher have. However, it seems like for now, you're going to just have to wait a year to get it on Steam. Be vocal about this though, let Deep Silver and Koch Media know your thoughts. I was really hoping that Epic Games' focus on their new store and launcher would bring them to improve their own service and then offer at least some competitive prices against Steam. But instead we've got this exclusivity trash happening. Even The Division 2 actually, which was expected to be available on Steam and Uplay, will now just be available on the Epic Games Store and Uplay. So no Steam there either. We'll see what the future holds though, but this isn't what true pro-consumer competition within a market looks like. This is just corporate bullshit.